Thank you so much for your time today. We have an interesting session on vocal for local. I'll take the example from the last session, Starbucks, right? Who doesn't like our names calling when we enter the Starbucks, right? So just taking extension on this, and we'll go on different categories. We have our panels from different industries. So we'll just understand how they resonate, their brand resonate with vocal for local. So maybe I'll open the stage for the first question, that how do your brand interpret vocal for local, and how do you engage with the vernacular audiences, right? So Krunal, maybe you want.
So, so let me introduce myself. I represent India's first digital payment app, BHIM. The core idea of launching this whole deep app is to reach out to the masses and the complete ecosystem, along with the Bharat, which is the reason for we are here. And as you rightly said, before reaching to the conclusion why we are in this space, let me throw a couple of data points. Indian Times and also Income Pyramid says that the current income pyramid is more on a triangular shape. After 20 years, we'll see completely different rudimentary diamond, which will bulge into middle class with more than 1 billion population, sitting with 5 to 30 lakh of annual income. So these are space where there is more than 60% of our population is residing. One more interesting thing is that the ecosystem is giving a leverage to tier 2, 3 cities to come up with more startups. Thanks to our whole India stake, which is mix of definitely UPI and Aadhaar and the banking system. Both merchant from both supply and the demand side is getting fulfilled, and the consumer at the center stage. When we reach out to Indians or Bharatis, definitely we should have to understand India is the most diverse place, diverse country with more culture nuances and the ethnicities, language. More than 23 languages are considered as official language, 100 languages are considered as a acceptance from different ecosystem, and more than 19,000 languages are considered as a dialects. So it is more important for marketers to understand how our consumers are reacting on different campaigns, different communications. If I simply do the standardized 7, 8 or 12 different adapts to my communication, it will not fit into the right model. So it's high time for we to understand whether we are moving from, transliteration to translation, but transcreation are happening or not. That is something where definitely she can come into the picture, where she know that the right formats, how it works. And yeah, the forum is more into MarTech, so I would like to hear more from your side also, that how technology can help us to jump into the effective, nuance-centric communications.
Sure, thank you so much, Sonia.
Yeah, perfect segue. Most definitely, I don't think for us, let me just give you a little bit of a context about my business. I come from a digital and MarTech specialist agency, and we work for our clients. And we are responsible for the marketing spends that they are making, the outcome based on that. And over sort of the course of many years, one has realized, as he rightly said, I don't think it's about translation. It's really about understanding the audience, right? That's the communication aspect of it. What do you say? When do you say? How do you say? But I think most importantly, it is also kind of the distribution of the content. We've had experiences, we work for a client, a brand that works with farmers. So that's sort of a perfect example of going vernacular, but also based on very hyper-local insights. We tested many ways of reaching out and engaging with that audience, right? The communication was a hit, but we weren't getting as many responses. So when you start interpreting this whole concept, it also means, you know, what channels the audience is comfortable with. We realized when we did Facebook marketing, we were doing it during the day. The farmer was on a tractor, he couldn't be bothered to pull out the phone and respond. And then we tried different sort of timings, and evening when he's back home, perfect timing. But then again, how do you, to solicit a response back? It was, for us, WhatsApp worked really well. For some, for north of India, down south, it was a missed call, right? So this whole sort of overlapping of vernacular and hyper-local has many, many interesting nuances. And in my world, I don't think there's a set formula, because we work with so many different categories, with so many different audience cuts, that it keeps us awake at night.
Sure. I'm sure you have a lot of interesting case studies also. We might discuss it later, further on. Vibhu, from your industry, OTT.
Yeah, hi, thanks. So, मैं आप लोग को बता दूं, मैं एक स्टील इंडस्ट्री से बिलोंग करता हूं, और अचानक से आज से करीब 7 साल 8 साल पहले मैं OTT इंडस्ट्री में अचानक से आ गया, क्योंकि मैंने एक फ़िल्म बनाई थी और वहाँ से मैंने ये सोचा कि डिजिटल एक नेक्स्ट जेन है और आज के टाइम में ये बहुत बड़ा एक मार्केट हो गया। तो मैंने स्टार्टअप वहाँ से लिया और इसको स्टडी किया कि कहाँ पर कौन सा ऐसा कंटेंट है और कौन सी ऐसी मार्केट है जिसको हमें कैप्चर करना चाहिए, और हमने एक प्रोडक्ट डेवलप किया और उसका नाम उल्लू रखा, जो ये सोच के रखा क्योंकि उस वक़्त सारे जो हम लोग के टाइम पे, जब क्योंकि हमने 6 साल पहले जब OTT स्टार्ट किया था तो वो बहुत ही स्ट्रगलिंग टाइम था। आज भी बहुत स्ट्रगलिंग हो गया, बट बीच का समय काफ़ी अच्छा हो गया था। बट उसको यही सोच के रखा कि जो लोकल मार्केट है, क्योंकि हमें Tier 1 Tier 2 को कैप्चर नहीं करना था, Tier 3 और Tier 4 को कैप्चर करना था, जिसकी वजह से हमने इसका नाम ऐसा रखा जो बहुत कैची हो और हर एक के ज़बान पर रोज़मर्रा की ज़िंदगी में आता हो। और उसको हमने टारगेट किया, और टारगेट करने के बाद हमने प्राइजेज़ बहुत कम रखे, 36 रुपीज़ पर एनम। तो हमने वहाँ से स्टार्टअप लिया, 1 साल का पूरा वर्किंग करा। जैसे मैम ने भी बताया, ये कोई रॉकेट साइंस जैसा होता भी है और नहीं भी होता है, क्योंकि ऑफ कोर्स कैलकुलेशन, जैसे हम लोगों का एक दूसरा OTT प्लेटफॉर्म है तरंगी, तो उसको भी हम लोगों ने इस तरीके से प्लान किया, बट अभी उसमें हम लोग काफ़ी हद तक स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं। बट हाँ, उल्लू को हम लोगों ने स्टार्ट Tier 3 और Tier 4 के लिए किया। आज Tier 1 में भी ये बहुत ही अच्छे से अवेलेबल है और लोग जानते हैं, और काफ़ी हमारा होल्ड है टचवुड मार्केट में। बट हम लोगों ने जो अपना स्टार्टअप लिया वो वहीं से लिया, और जो हमारा प्रमोशंस थे वो ज़्यादातर फेसबुक और गूगल के थ्रू ही होते थे। बट ऑफ कोर्स मैं इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, और मैं इसमें यहाँ ये ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहूँगा। तो कंटेंट की डिमांड भी थी, क्योंकि वो हमने बड़ा रिसर्च किया कि ऐसा डिमांड या ऐसा कंटेंट उस वक़्त मार्केट में नहीं था, और हमने उसको बनाया। और ये हमने इट्स अ बिज़नेस, ऐसा कोई वो नहीं था कि देखना था कि यहाँ पर ये चीज़ अवेलेबल नहीं है। तो उसको हमने डेवलप किया, जिससे कि पब्लिक ने उसको देखा, लाइक किया। और क्योंकि ये 100% सब्सक्रिप्शन बेस्ड है, आप लोग को पता ही होगा, जैसा कुछ लोगों को, तो वहाँ से हम लोगों ने इस तरीके से वोकल टू लोकल स्टार्टअप किया। बट आज लोकल से आज मेट्रो में भी आ गया है।
Awesome, thank you so much. Abhishek, maybe you can take example from your business, the cricket one, because I'm sure people resonate with the cricket in India. So you can tell us how it works with your brand, and how do you segment the audiences, and how it's working for you.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you for keeping the cricket theme in today's event. It makes our marketing thing easier. And Bhavin, in one of the previous sessions, actually gave us idea for our next marketing campaign. He basically mentioned that there is no fun in cricket if there is no score. So Cricheroes is actually that fun in cricket, because we enable scores for millions and millions of grassroots cricketers. Having said that, vocal for local has been part of the strategy of the company, consciously or unconsciously, from day one. Because when we started Cricheroes back in 2016, we knew that we are building for India and we are building for cricket, right? Which is, I mean, an Indian sport accidentally invented by British. So it was not a choice for us whether like we should have localization as a part of strategy or not, right? It was from product development to acquisition to marketing to support to even hiring. Vocal for local has been part of our strategy.
All right, everybody, we've got the other speaker also join us in the panel discussion. Put your hands together for the co-founder of Fynd. We have Mr. Farooq Adam in the house. Thank you so much.
We're just discussing the theme about vocal for local. So we have panelists from different industries. We have from OTT, from cricket, gaming, and then we have from fintech. So from your perspective, would like to understand how the vocal for theme is implemented or how your audience resonate with the theme.
Sure. So Fynd serves close to 220 million customers of the country. We do this via working very closely with Reliance Retail. Our platform powers the online, offline and new commerce businesses of Reliance Retail. Specifically the new commerce business, that's where we reach tier 2 plus cities, we reach rural centers, and where the large part of the new commerce consumption happens. We look at this in two ways. Our products yet are not localized, and there's a lot of work we need to do. We started some work around localizing it to local languages using Google API and a bunch of other open source work, but we've never been able to kind of make it natively enabled for the users. Users continue to use the English version of their applications, and they don't want to switch back. I also believe that we have not done a great job at that, and we still, as a country, as an organization, we still need to do a lot more and really think in those languages when we are making our applications. So that's one. When we work with that part of India which talks in multiple languages, all our local campaigns, all our local events are in those languages. But our end-to-end customer, I would feel, there's still a lot of work we need to do to make that experience very localized for our customers. That's on our roadmap. We need to actively work on it. We believe from 200 million, when we move to 600 million customers, we will have to think very differently. And what we do now might not be the playbook when we have to get the next generation of internet native users on the platform.
Got it, thank you. Next follow-up, maybe question about what are the challenges when you are implementing this theme, and what are the opportunities? Where do you see the opportunities and the challenges to have this vernacular audience, or how do you segregate the audiences, what content to show? So maybe an example of opportunity and challenge.
Okay, so I think communicating with our users is the easier part. I mean, we do a lot of localized communication with our end users, both in online and offline modes. But I fundamentally believe the people who are building the platforms, the product managers, the engineers, we still continue to think in English. And we don't have that sense of empathy that we need for our users, because we're not thinking in those ways. All the information, all the literature that exists of building products, of building platforms, is primarily in English, and hence that's what we kind of have a strong bias on. We really don't know how we should build it. The way, if you look at this event itself, right? I mean, there's hardly anything written in any other language. Did you write in any other language?
No.
Why not? Right. So that's a bias, right? We are English thinking, English speaking, English hanging around with everyone watching Netflix, and we don't really understand how. And companies like us, when we build for 600 million users, the people that need to work to do that, I don't think we have that talent, right? And we need to kind of really ground up, think about it, and build it. Technologies exist, right? Google has a fantastic bunch of translate APIs that we can use, but the product thinking that needs to go in that's still missing. I think by and large communications has happened. A lot of people send localized SMSs. We send maybe in 17 different languages, activation SMSs to our customers, but we rarely do anything on the platform and application layer.
Sure. Krunal, moving to you, since you come from fintech background, so I'm sure there are a lot of regulations and guidelines. So how do you see the challenges and opportunities?
So before I answer that question, what he got is the right format where empathy is the main reason why brand marketers are not thinking in a right format. Irrespective of any business, whether it's a fintech or any other app or even not in the app business, empathy is something which is more friction level and that too emotional friction. So if we understand why someone is not using your app or your business, they were into three different quadrants, emotional, cognitive and functional. Empathy comes always on the top, delight and empathy. Both are opposite, but if we don't touch that part, and if we further deep dive the reason behind emphasizing on empathy, we Indians, though we understand English, but still we love to see our mother tongue usage by some other person. When someone just acknowledged me in my mother tongue, I would be more, comfort and more relate with that person or the brand. So, as a brand persona, I should be inclusive in nature. With that regards, BHIM from day one is into 22 different languages. It's a big achievement for us because we understand that the languages like Mizo or Marwari, which are not the small format, but in terms of volume might be less, we are there. And if we don't fulfill the promise which we are doing, or a brand promise, there's no point to putting a single penny on it. With regards to compliance, definitely it's not something which stops us to do that. It's up to our will and commitment. What he's saying is perfectly right, that it starts with the product development phase. And that's what something which we are working on it, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so I think empathy is a great point, and I agree with Farooq. Great point he brought up. For Cricheroes, because as I mentioned, we are building for India and building for cricket, we had to be mindful of all the audiences which were there, right? So even though initially we started with a English only app, very soon we realized because of people who were there on field or even our customer support team, right, who were talking to our users every day, we very soon realized that unless and until, we don't talk to them in their language, specifically from product perspective, sooner or later we will hit a roadblock. Right? So that's when immediately we started working on localizing our app, at least the core flows of the app, if not entirely. Right? So the app is now available in 10 languages. Our customer support team speaks in Hindi to our users. Right? That gives them comfort. We also have a couple of guys who can speak South Indian languages and all. Right? So it's not just just Hindi is not enough. Right? So that comfort also is very, very important. So it's not just about product, but also about, everything in the company as a strategy. How can you localize that? We hire cricketers, we hire people who speak different languages, just so that, they understand different mindset and different ways people play cricket.
Awesome. Vibhu, I'm sure you have different content, different languages, Hindi, English, and other local languages. So how's the response been, and what's a split between non-metros, metros? I'm sure you have, we were discussing back just now that you started non-metros and metros, so a little bit on the journey part.
हाँ बिल्कुल, ये इससे हमने जो अभी बताया कि अभी आप लोगों ने बोला कि जैसे हमारा जो कंटेंट है वो ज़्यादातर ऑफ कोर्स हिंदी में रहता है और हम लोग सबटाइटल्स इंग्लिश में देते हैं, बट तमिल, तेलुगु, साउथ लैंग्वेजेस, कन्नड़, मलयालम, बंगाली, हम लोगों ने इन भाषाओं में भी इसको डब करके पब्लिक को दिया, क्योंकि ये डिमांड आई लोगों की ऑटोमेटिकली यूट्यूब के थ्रू और सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू कि आप हमें लोकल भाषा में दीजिए। कंटेंट हमारा ऑफ कोर्स हिंदी ही होता है, बस वैसा नहीं है, लेकिन हमने उनको डब किया और डे बाय डे वो डिमांड बढ़ी भी है, नॉट इन इंडिया, इंडिया के बाहर भी, क्योंकि काफ़ी इंडियंस बाहर भी जॉब करते हैं जिनको उनकी लोकल भाषा ज़रूरत होती है, लेकिन काफ़ी भाषाओं को हम डब नहीं कर पाते, जिसकी वजह से अभी एक AI सिस्टम आया है सबटाइटलिंग में, उसने हमें बहुत सपोर्ट किया है और 80% वो कवर अप करता है। जैसे हम पंजाबी भाषा को दे सकते हैं, भोजपुरी को दे सकते हैं, तो वो ऑटोमेटिक ऑटो सबटाइटलिंग में हम लगा देते हैं, जिससे कि डबिंग उतनी नहीं करनी पड़ती, बट नीचे हाँ सबटाइटलिंग आती है लोकल लैंग्वेज जो भी रिक्वायर्ड होती है, तो वो सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं और उसका हमें बहुत बेनिफिट मिला और काफ़ी लोग डिमांड भी करते रहते हैं कि हमको इस लैंग्वेज का भी दीजिए, उस लैंग्वेज का भी दीजिए।
थैंक यू। Sonia, you want to add something from your brands, what they are doing on this?
Yeah, sure. Most of the work that we do lands up being in English. I think that's kind of the mindset or talent be in the industry, SI here, right? So strategically, what we've started doing is based on our clients' demand to try and hunt for talent from local markets, right? दो चीज़ें होती हैं. One, of course, you know, there's the translation of things, but idea or insights or observations of local communities comes from there. I don't think we can sit in Bombay in the office and figure out what someone wants in Jharkhand or Ranchi, right? So that is one. And sort of the second kind of challenge / opportunity is that we are all in a digital world, right? Nothing is stopping us from testing, even language testing, but it's not such a prominent feature in our lives, right? We've seen that where we've done communication in Vernac, we've seen up to a 60% incremental outcome. So it definitely works, but I think the start point is the foundation around which we think, which everyone's sort of spoken about, but your product is like that. That's a big challenge and also an opportunity.
Oh, great. And I mean, since everyone mentioned about there's a lot of data, हम हिंदी में बात करते हैं and everything. So I'm sure there's a lot of AI, ML tech stack that you guys use to dissect the audience or target them in the local language or maybe different content, everything. So do you think tech stack or MarTech is important and how it can help you to unlock the potential?
I would like to jump on that question. I mean, I want my hand way early when it requires to using text to jump on a Vernac solution. It's all about expecting too much from, say, predictive AI or Gen AI, whatever we name it, whatever the version we name it, because till the time we don't feed them, the emotional aspect, and that too when it comes to the finance or payment where I'm into, is not there. We Indians, whether we spend or whether we transfer 1 lakh rupees or 1 rupee, we make sure that we need surety, comfort, timely response. We need safe, secure and seamless transactions or whatever. So at that time, what I found that it's too early to jump onto, say, communication aspect, and that too in Vernac with the use of Gen AI. I would love to see something from you guys or some other player in case you want to. But with regards to going on a positive direction, taking help of creating different cohorts, different brand personas can be very easy when we effectively use AI/ML, using them to reach out right audience at right time, merge it with geofencing in a large format like India is something we definitely vouch for it, and we do have a good result out of it.
Sure. Abhishek, you want to add anything on the tech stack or?
Yeah, so no, I mean, we don't use AI, machine learning, those kind of tech for localization of the entire thing, not yet, but it does give me an idea. So we do use AI for generating automatic commentary, ball to ball, right? So, you know, like whenever there is a delivery, you know, like now we are putting similar kind of commentary which you will see probably on Cricinfo, CricBuzz. So that commentary, which is like written by humans, similar kind of commentary is now generated by AI on Cricheroes, because virtually it is not going to be possible for us to write commentary for every match that is going on. So, you know, we have to use such technology. But now I think this particular conversation gives me an idea that, you know, we can actually use APIs to translate the same commentary into multiple languages. Right, and I think that can become a great product. Another use case which we are working on right now, we haven't launched it yet. We are working on pre-match show and post-match show. Generally, you know, like the kind of introduction some host gives before a cricket match. Now that entire thing can also be generated by AI, right? So based on the past performances of both teams, the players who are playing on those teams, and the ground conditions, we can create a 2-minute summary of the match, you know, like a pre-match show, and then that entire thing can be translated into an audio with using another audio audio AI tool, right? So now that entire thing can also be done using, localization APIs in multiple languages. Imagine, like a Hindi commentator, and then, on top of it, you add a known voice like Harsha Bogle or, Akash Chopra saying the same thing in Hindi. Right now, this is a true kind of localization for grassroots cricket, but giving them the same experience as international cricket.
Got it. Vibhu, you want to add something? आपने बताया आप AI internal AI use करते हैं तो
हाँ ऑफ कोर्स हमारे यहाँ तो बहुत ज़रूरत पड़ती है और हमारे यहाँ क्योंकि कस्टमर जो देखना चाह रहा है उसको टॉप पे देखना है तो एआई हमारा खुद का हमने अपना खुद का डेवलप किया हुआ है। हमने अपना खुद का एक इंजन भी किया हुआ है जो सेग्रीगेट करता है पब्लिक कहाँ का क्या है कितना कौन पैसा देना चाहता है क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ मंथली क्वार्टरली और ईयरली प्लान्स होते हैं तो हमें वो एक हमारा तवस करके एक अपना खुद का सॉफ्टवेयर हमने डेवलप किया है वो सारा वर्किंग पिछले 3-4 साल का निचोड़ निकाल करके और उससे हमें काफ़ी बेनिफिट भी मिलता है। ऑफ कोर्स एआई से भी बहुत सपोर्ट मिलता है कि कौन कहाँ का किस स्टेट का ऑडियंस या कंज्यूमर उसको कंज्यूम कर रहा है कितना टाइम स्पेंड कर रहा है और कौन सी लैंग्वेज देख रहा है कौन सा कंटेंट देखना पसंद कर रहा है तो वो बहुत हेल्प आउट करता है। तो क्योंकि इंटरनल टीम है हमारी पूरी हमारा खुद का कॉल सेंटर है तो वहाँ से भी हमें काफ़ी सपोर्ट मिलता है तो ये इसका काफ़ी अच्छा वो है।
ओके फारूक यू वांट टू ऐड?
Yeah, sure. So between Fynd and Geo, very specifically on two types of foundational models we are localizing it. There is Bharat GPT that is being built by Geo. We are also building another version of that called Tiger Boost at Fynd, where we are fine-tuning Llama 3 with a lot of internal data, which is India-specific, business-specific, and some part of it is localized, but that's been fine-tuned. One is being foundationally built and one is being fine-tuned. We are also building Bharat Diffusion. One of the problems that we came across when we were using OpenAI and Midjourney, a lot of the images that you try to make for India and Indian use cases, they just don't turn out well. And we're a country of 1.4 people, we are a country of countries in some sense. And if we are to kind of do this, we'll have to build foundation model which serves our need, right? I mean, in the model that we've made, you can actually describe things in local languages, right? You can write, pani puri with chutney on a 5-star plate, and it will make you that. So all of that is contextualized for India. So those are the foundational work we do. A lot of the AI/ML work that you kind of expect to happen in a company like us, all of that is happening. But these are the two interesting localized projects that we feel will move the needle for the country.
Got it. Maybe we have a few minutes now, so maybe one or two key takeaways for the audience that if someone is sitting in the audience from your particular sector or domain, what should they do? A single point or 2 points, how should they strategize to implement this theme for the audience?
Foundational models?
Or maybe some strategy that you tried, it worked out, and maybe 1 line or 2 lines, what they should try doing it.
I mean, making foundation model is a fairly expensive activity. I would advise, if you're building generative applications or if you're going after generative use cases, focus on the top application layer. There are larger companies, there are country-specific projects that are running, which will give you the foundational models. Don't spend too much time and effort to try to get CPUs, GPUs, and try to get this large training data set on which you can train it. Use anything out of the box. Go backwards from what the user needs, and then figure out how you can build it generatively, magically. Create all sort of next generation of applications, products, and services, rather than spending too much time on building foundations. That's a very expensive activity. Very few companies in the world can afford it. So just focus on that. And that would be my simple advice, And anyway, all of the riches is going to be in the application layer, right? I mean, no one is going to become rich by giving just another foundation model, because the moment you make one foundation model, someone else will come with a better one. And there's always the Llama 3, 4, 5 sort of company open models that come out.
Sure. Abhishek, you want to add anything? Any inputs?
No, I agree with Farooq. No point creating the foundational layer of this technology. The technology is there. Even we took a long time before implementing anything related to, let's say, generative AI or any similar technology, because it took us a long time to find out the use case. Finally, you know, as I said, the ball-to-ball delivery, automatic commentary is one use case which we have found, which cannot possibly be solved with any other approach, right? So, you know, like until and unless you find that, so I mean, apart from what Farooq said, I would also advise that, you know, like just make sure that the use case is also extremely scalable. You know, like unless and until, you know, the activity is something which cannot possibly be done, you know, without any other alternative, no point, you know, like trying your hand on even application layer. You know, like for example, you know, his example was also a great one, right? Automatic generation of subtitles in multiple languages. Now this is something, you know, at scale, it is not going to be possible. It will be very, very expensive. So then this is the right problem to solve with the help of generative AI or similar technology.
नहीं, आपने एक चीज़ और बोली थी कि जो अपना AI के थ्रू आप अभी जो डबिंग जिसे हम लोग करते हैं वो हमने भी ट्राई किया था, बट उसमें क्या होता है कि 100% एक्यूरेसी नहीं आती है और जो आवाज़ होती है वो सीरी होती है, तो सीरी या गूगल जो आपका बोलता है वो बहुत अजीब लगता है.
नहीं, एक्चुअली वो भी सॉरी वो प्रॉब्लम भी एक्चुअली मोर और लेस सॉल्व हो गया है. I have heard the demo of thing which our team has created. You can actually have voice which is, let's say, very similar to an actual guy.
Okay.
And tomorrow, as I said, I'm pretty sure after hearing that, I'm pretty sure we will be able to license Ravi Shastri's voice one day, and we'll be able to see.
That can be done.
Yes.
Awesome. Krunal, from fintech side, any suggestions?
Before jumping into any business model or what do you call development phase, my suggestion can be very simple, that find out the right use case. A, it has to be scalable. B, the India stack is ready. It's ready format and everyone is using it, and we are going out to give it to some other developed countries. So it's high time where we should have to understand that we understand our segment first, whom we are approaching. Segmentation has to be right and perfect. Drill down to multiple different formats of persona mapping. If it's not happening perfectly on day one, your foundation is weak. India is a data-rich country. We do have a perfect MarTech stack available with us. Different players are there, so no need to jump on that direction. Make sure your persona and cohort creation are right from day one. Otherwise, your entire money or entire expense goes on a drain. And then the drills are very simple. We have seen the good examples in front of us.
Awesome, thank you. Any questions from audience? Do you want to ask any question about your business or strategies?
जब आपने टायर 3 टायर 4 की बात छेड़ी तो वहाँ थ्रूपुट काफ़ी अच्छा है स्ट्रीमिंग का, या उसमें भी कुछ जद्दोजहद करनी पड़ी?
नहीं सर, हमें 5-7 साल पहले ज़रूर करनी पड़ी, बट ऑफ कोर्स AWS ने उसमें हमें काफ़ी सपोर्ट दिया. वहाँ पर हमने उनको बताया कि इन पर्टिकुलर डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में या इन विलेजेस में अवेलेबिलिटी या बफरिंग आ रही है, तो उन्होंने उस पर तुरंत टेस्टिंग करी और उन्होंने काफ़ी वहाँ के जो पॉप्स हैं उनको स्ट्रीमलाइन किया, तो उससे फ़र्क पड़ा. क्योंकि मैंने आपको बताया कि 5 साल पहले काफ़ी स्ट्रगल था और लोग OTT के नाम पर कुछ भी नहीं जानते थे. उनको OTT मतलब आप एक सपने की दुनिया दिखा के उनसे पैसा मांग रहे हो, तो पॉसिबिलिटी बहुत ही टफ़ होती थी कि भैया ये पिक्चर दिखेगी लेकिन ये सॉफ्ट फाइल है, बस तुम्हें देखना है, उसका पैसा देखना है. तो उस वक्त पॉसिबल नहीं था क्योंकि टीवीज़ और सिनेमाज बहुत एक्टिवेटेड थे.
आपकी जो प्राइसिंग है वो कोलैबोरेशन से हुए लार्जली या स्टैंड अलोन बेसिस पे?
नहीं, स्टैंड अलोन.
थैंक यू.
Any other question from audience? Okay. Thank you so much again for your time today, and it was great. I think great insightful.
Thank you.